Yeah. So, take no thought for your life, man. You know, because the Lord don't want us to have a mindset of this place continuing forever, man. You see, America was never set up for you to basically kick your feet up and think that this is forever. That's why the Lord said, take no thought for tomorrow. You ain't supposed to. Don't worry about tomorrow. If anything, if you worrying about tomorrow, that's really pride. You see, that's really pride, because you don't even know if you're gonna live to see tomorrow, man. And let's prove that. Yep, this is Luke 12, and this Luke 12 and 16. It says, and he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully, and he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruits? You see, so let me read this in the NLT. It said, Luke 12 and 16 in the NLT, it says, then he told them a story. A rich man had a fertile farm that produced fine crops. He said to himself, what shall I do? I don't have room for all my crops. Then he said, I know, I tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I have room enough to store all my wheat and other goods. And I sit back and say to myself, my friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. Now take it easy, eat, drink, and be merry. But the Most High said to him, you fool, you will die this very night. Then who will get everything you work for? You see? So the Lord don't want us to be in that spirit of what tomorrow may bring, what you may accumulate tomorrow. Now, of course, it's a balance, and you got to have understanding with that. That's not saying just, you got a bill that need to be paid literally the next day, and it's not to say that it won't enter your mind, but don't put all your stock and energy into it, man, because at the end of the day, Yahweh Shema Shai controls everything, man. The Lord controls all of that. You see? And why the Lord said, take no thought for your life. So don't worry about your life. Don't worry about these small carnal things, man. The Lord just told us to seek him while he may be found, man. But don't worry about carnal things, man. Worry about the spiritual things. Worry about how we're going to escape Jacob's trouble. You see? Worry about the protection that the Lord has promised during these perilous times, man. Because we are in perilous times. You see? We in perilous times. We're in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble, man. And it's only going to get worse from here. It's not going to get better, man. So don't expect it to get better, man. Expect the worst. But within the worst, expect also good from Yahweh Shema Shai, because it tells you how, roughly paraphrasing, those that are in the Lord meditate good, or meditate good upon the Lord, So we ain't just like we down and out. We don't know what the fuck going on. No, the Lord told us, hey, trust in the Lord with all thy mind, and lean not into your own understanding. We've been brought into this truth to trust in the Lord, man. You see, trust in the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the Lord gave us the accounts of even our forefathers and foremothers on the reward that you would get for operating in that like manner, man. You see? Matthew 24 and verse 34. It says, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. You see, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. You see, so these prophecies that have been set for an appointed time, the Lord already said that it's going to come to pass, man, and it's going to happen. You see, whether you people want to believe it or not, man, because you got more unbelievers than there are believers, but it's all cool. Because at the end of the day, you unbelievers are not understanding that whether you believe or not, everybody's still going to be faced with prophecy. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point. You're going to be still faced with prophecy at the end of the day, man. So it'll be in your best interest for you to believe now so that you may be covered when things intensify. You see? It says heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. So everything that's written within these holy scriptures, it's not going to pass away, man. The Lord's going to make good on his promise, man. Let's prove that. It's Isaiah 34 and verse 16. It says, seek ye out of the book of Yahweh Shema Shai and read. Scriptures tell you, blessed is he that readeth. You see? It says, none of these shall fail. You see? None of these shall fail, meaning none of these prophecies that's written within the Holy Scriptures are going to fail, meaning everything that's written, it ain't like it's just not going to come to pass. So if the Lord spoke about teeth of wild beasts, Esau coming down with great wrath, a great famine being in the land, the MOTB, which is the RFID microchip, coming to pass, World War III coming to pass, the destruction of America, that means all of this is written in the scriptures. That means it's going to fucking come to pass, man. It ain't just some words that's just written on a piece of paper just to sound cool or something, man. No, it's going to come to pass. And that's why Lord tell you to study to show thyself approved, man. Because if you're studying, if you're following the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, if you're following the doctrine of Yahweh Shema Shai, you're going to be moved with fear just like Noah. And you're going to ultimately believe the report, man. And that's going to save your soul, man. You're going to receive the engrafted word, man. You see, it says, no one of these shall fail. So no one of these prophecies shall fail. None shall want her mate. You know, so ain't no other doctrine, ain't no other belief system that can compare to what the Holy Scriptures entails, man. Or what how the prophets break down these prophecies, man. You ain't gonna be able to look in the Quran and get Jacob's trouble out of the Quran. Because the Quran doesn't obtain prophecy, which is a divine revelation from Yahweh Shema Shai through his holy men, which are set apart from this world, man. You see? It says, none shall want her mate, for my mouth it have commanded, and his spirit it have gathered them. And this is how the elect is being gathered in these last days. It's through the word, man. You see? The elect is being gathered through the word. We're being gathered through these prophecies. When you first heard of what the Lord had entail for this place, America, which is the destruction, even if you've seen a sign, even if you've seen brothers out on the highways and byways holding the sign of the missiles or holding Yahweh Shai returning with the host of heavens, guess what? That moved you with fear, you see? And that also moved you to believe, man. You see? And it gathered you. That brought you back into the good grace. That gave you at that moment, you had an opportunity at access to the good graces of Yahweh Shema Shai. You see? Point blank, period. You see? It says, and he have cast the lot for them, and his hand have divided it divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever, from generation to generation shall they dwell therein. And truth has returned back unto the elect prophets, the 144,000 in these last days, man. You know? What King David said. King David said, my cup runneth over. And that's through the way of reincarnation, man. Because this is not the first time that we've been exposed to this form of teaching, man. You see? Some of us were back then during the time of Yahweh Shai walking the planet Earth over 2,000 years ago. Some of us were back then during the time of King Solomon when he was ruling. Guess what? King Solomon was a prophet, which is Yahweh Shai. King David is a prophet. All the prophets. Isaiah was a prophet. Ezra was a prophet. You see? And guess what? All of these men had a portion of the spirit of Yahweh Shai, had the spirit of prophecy upon them, and it will all come together and paint this beautiful picture or this beautiful movie, which will entail the thoughts of Yahweh Shai being on display, man. Because that's ultimately what we're living out. We're living out the thoughts of the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. You know? We ain't just come up with this on our own, man. You know? Let's go here. This Luke 21 and verse 25. It says, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. You see? So you're seeing the signs in the heaven. The Lord already gave us the signs to look for in Matthew the 24th chapter, you know, which starts off with us receiving the good news and glad tidings, receiving this gospel of Yahweh Shai, you know. And by the way of the Lord's Spirit being pushed within the earth, that's why we're seeing these calamities or these evils continue to increase, man. You see, this is why the evils are continuing to increase, because the words of the Lord has went forth. You see, these signs are not just by coincidence, man. You know, this was predestinated, so to speak, man. Habakkuk 2 and verse 3, it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. You see, and this is how we know that we're at the end of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man's rulership, man. Because we see these visions, which are these prophecies, coming to pass. We see the infrastructure of the mark of the beast, man, which is the RFID microchip, man, which you will have to physically have implanted inside of your hand, your head, in order for you to continue in this society. And if you refuse to take it, you will either be put to death or you will be cast out of society, man. And what gave you a glimpse into how that's going to operate and maneuver in these last days, just go back to the great example that the Lord gave during 2020, during the C-19, man. Point blank, period. So it's simple. It's plain unto the holy. It's plain unto the elect on how these things are all coming together, how all these prophecies are manifested. It's plain, you know? So it's no room, if you understand the report, if you understand the mind of Yahweh Shai and the plans of the Lord, that means it's no room for perplexity, which perplexity basically goes back to not knowing what the fuck is going on, man. It's no room for that, because that's why the Lord set the ministry up in these last days, man. You see, which the different portions of prophets will give you a full picture of prophecy. You see, that's why the scriptures tell you, oh, that's a turtle dove, that's a spirit. Scriptures tell you that we have a more sure word of prophecy, you know. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. So these prophecies are not lying. That's why, for those of you that don't believe what's being brought out unto you, it doesn't matter if you don't believe. We're not here to convince you people to believe. We're here to basically convince, or I say it like this, we're not here to convince everybody to believe. We're here to only to persuade the elect through the fear of the Lord to believe. That's who we here for. We here for the elect. It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So these prophecies are not tarrying, man. You know, these prophecies are coming to pass quickly, man. And it's only going to continue to come to pass quickly because the Lord has spoken it. You see, at the end of the day, for you people out there that's wondering, well, how do you know that these things are going to come to pass? Because you got a lot of people out there that don't believe the Bible, man. I just ran into a motherfucker yesterday, Eve, that don't even believe the Bible, man. You see? But guess what? At the end of the day, that bitch is gonna be manifested with prophecy. Prophecy is gonna be manifested in her personal life. So it don't even fucking matter if you believe or not, man, because this is only for a select few, you see? But the prophets have been given the secrets or the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven to proclaim to the elect, man, you know? That's why it says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So at one point in time, it may have, like, matter of fact, you go back probably like early 2000s, you know what I mean? A motherfucker had a Blueberry, a Blueberry phone or a Blackberry phone, you know what I'm saying? To where you ain't have iPhones like that to be as advanced. You may have had iPhones, but they weren't as advanced, or technology as a whole wasn't as advanced as it is now, you see? So a motherfucker back then could have had an argument, because I've heard argument like, that ain't gonna come, you know what I mean? Or that ain't gonna happen in our lifetime, you know? That's gonna happen, 50 years from now? You know, that's gonna happen 100, or a nigga say, I'm gonna be dead and gone by the time they get here, you know? But that just shows you that they're not paying attention to the signs that the Lord is showing in the earth. And that's what's gonna cause, that's gonna be the root of them being destroyed in these last days, man. You see? It says, because his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. You see? So at the end of the day, the elect is living by faith. So we have faith in these prophecies. You see? Because this is what ultimately, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, keeps us going. And that's what's going to keep us going in these terrible times. Because wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of our times. In the fear of the Lord, the strength of salvation, roughly paraphrasing, man. You know? Which is the treasures of wisdom. Because everybody outside this council lacks the fear of the Lord. These people don't give a damn about fearing the Lord, man. You know? And that's why they're going to be destroyed in the like manner that they're going to be destroyed in, man. You see? And that's just what it is. Let's go here. The second Esdras 9:1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time, or the very same generation, just like how we spoke about, well, what Yahweh Shah spoke about, that this generation shall not pass to all these prophecies and signs be fulfilled, you know, wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And we know that the Lord is visiting the world which he made. How? Because we see the prophecies, we see the blood moons, we see the super moons, we see Esau stirring up controversy to try to condemn the believers of Yahweh Shema Shah, to try to make us as T-risk, you know what I mean, in this society, you know, to try to bring about a sworn event, to try to bring about all these different calamities, to basically lump us in with T-risk, to bring about an NWO system. So we see the game plan of the enemy, because the Lord gave us the game plan, because it all goes back to the scriptures, man. You see? It says, therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people, and you're seeing the uproars of the people, you're seeing the earthquakes in the diverse places, man, especially the uproars of the people. You got these different MAGA, you know, Edomites out here that's no longer hearkening to the poison and wine of Trump, you know? Trump made all these goddamn promises to you dumbass Edomites out there, like he was gonna make America great again, you know? He got you people deceived like things are gonna get better. He gonna end the war fastly with Iran, you know? But yet your fucking gas prices is still going up. Yet your food and resources is still going up, you know? Yet you still have a large percentage of people in unemployment, you know? The unemployment rate is continuing to skyrocket, you see? Here it is, you still have Americans, you know, that that's working 3 jobs and still not making ends meet in this wicked ass economy, man. You see? So that means that this man lied to you, man. And you people have hearkened unto those lies. You see? Continuing on, it says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the beginning. Hold on. Let me read it again. It says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. You see, so like I spoke about earlier, these things were and are predestinated, man. These evils are not just popping up out of nowhere and don't know it ain't no way to time back to the scriptures. No, that's why believing a report is important, man. Because with you believing a report, you're able to understand the times that you in, man. It says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Yeah, the end is being manifest. The end of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man's kingdom, is being made manifest, man. You see, that's why the Lord has us out here in boldness to proclaim that, look, this shit is over with, man. Brothers are not just saying that for no reason. No, if you are literally paying attention to how society is, this shit is over with, man. The morale of the people is low, is at an all-time low. People don't really, this young generation really don't even give a fuck about working for real. They working these certain gig jobs, you know. You have people can barely travel, you know what I'm saying? Because things are expensive. So that's a collapsing economy because the dollar has no value, you know. The dollar has no, it has a stronghold, but it has it to a certain extent, you see, because literally the petrodollar can be overthrown overnight. It ain't like it's a hard goddamn process for this shit to be done away with, because it's not real currency, man. You see? Continuing on, it says, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And you're seeing the effects and signs, you see? And everyone that shall be saved. So if you want to be saved from these times, you have to first receive the engrafted word, and you also have to have that gift of faith pursuing the Ephesians, the 2nd chapter, man. You see? And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. You see? So at the end of the day, in order for you to be preserved from these said perils, you ultimately have to be of Yahweh Shem Shai's chosen. And that's why, you know, we hope and we pray that we of Yahweh Shem Shai's chosen. But even the fact that the Lord gave us the opportunity to hope, that's a good sign, you see? Because when you look at everybody else in this planet Earth, they don't have the abilities to hope, you know? They can't hope in the Lord's mercy. Yep, this Psalms 33 and verse 18, I'm going to close out with this one. It says, behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy. See, so the Lord is only considering those spirits that hope in his mercy, and that's the elect, or the hopeful elect. It says to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. You see, because we're currently in a famine, man. We are in a famine. It's only a matter of time before shit just dry out completely, to where you can't go to the store as you please, to where you can't shop online, you can't do shit. It's just gonna be a fucking shortage of food, water, and ultimately shelter, man. It's gonna be a shortage on all these things that you need to basically survive, man. You see? But the Lord's elect, the Lord said to deliver their soul from death. So that's a separation. It says, and to keep them alive in famine. And the Lord said, pursuing to Isaiah, my servant shall eat and my servants shall drink, man. You see? So we already seeing different signs. Brothers got different testimonies of the Lord feeding his men, you know, and you know, in hard situations, man. So how much more when there's no more GMO available, you know? Because, look, the Lord ain't finna feed his men and his chosen no goddamn GMOs, man. We ain't finna be eating no GMOs, man. Everything is gonna be real. Everything is gonna have 100% nutrition to it. Whatever food the Lord may display to us, whether it's manna, fish, loaves, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be drinking real water, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever, man. Whatever the Lord, however the Lord has these miracles to play out for his elect, just know that it's gonna be real, man. You see? It ain't gonna be no fugazi shit, man. You see? Continuing on, it says to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. So we're gonna be kept alive in famine, man. It says, our soul waiteth for the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. He is our help and our shield. Yeah, be patient when you're changed to a lower state, man. You see? We're changed to a lower state, but the Lord told us to wait and be patient, man. It says, for our heart shall rejoice in him because we have trusted in his holy name. And that's why having the names of the Lord is important, which the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, meaning he exists. And the name of his only begotten son is Yahweh Shai, meaning he saves, he delivers, man. You see, and those are nomen omens, man. And the Lord is giving us experiences right now to understand those names. So in the time of bleak situations where the carnal physical eye cannot see eating in the time of no food, no water, where the spiritual eye is going to kick in to where you're going to remember the report, man. You see? You're going to look at the generations of old and see, have any trusted in the Lord and was forsaken and confounded, man? Absolutely not. And that's where that help is going to come in on the behalf of the elect. It says, let thy mercy, but it has to be through the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. It's not going to be through sweet Jeebus. It's not going to be through Buddha, Allah, Jehovah. If you call on those names in that day, you're going to get fucking destroyed, man. You see? And you also have to have the doctrine. You also have to believe the report in order for the Lord to step in on your behalf. It says, let thy mercy, O Yahweh Shema Shai, be upon us. You see? So the Lord has not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation through Yahweh Shai. You see? It says, according as we hope in thee. And that's the whole point, is to hope in the Lord, man. You see? We hoping in Yahweh Shema Shai. But Lord willing, that was edifying. I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught me this truth. Peace and blessings be to hopeful elect you men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.